I'm going to show you how to make the candles in the Easter rolled beeswax candle making kit, and I'm going to talk you through how to make these 5 fantastic Easter seasonal candles. So the kit comes in a box which fits through your letterbox, and if I open it up I'll just show you the contents. So included in the kit are step-by-step instructions on how to make the candles, so you can refer to this in addition to watching this video. And then enclosed in the kit are 6 wicks to make the candles, and then a selection of beeswax sheets. So we have some coloured offcuts to make the various decorations, triangular sheets to make the candles, some of the candles, and then some square sheets to make the other candles. So all the items are included in the kit. The additional item you also need is a pair of scissors, which isn't actually included in the kit. So a small pair of scissors. I actually find like nail scissors quite useful because we're cutting out some little pieces of wax, and I actually find like almost nail scissors work quite well too. But either way, a pair of scissors are required to finish the candles off. The first candle we're going to make is with one of the square sheets. So I'm going to use the green sheet, and I'm going to place the square onto the table. I'm then going to take the wick, and I'm going to place the wick about 1/2 centimetre from the edge of the sheet. And then you're going to fold over or roll over and cover the wick. So if you can see, I've started to cover the wick here, and you're going to do that slowly all the way to the end. So you want to capture that wick, so slowly go all the way to the edge. Now you should make sure that the sheets are warm. If the sheets are cold, they do break a little bit, so either warm them in the palm of your hand a little bit like this before you start to melt the wax, roll the wax, or place them in a warm area before you start. So you're going to go all the way to the end, and then you're going to do the same again. So ideally you want to keep this as tight as possible, and you'll see it becomes a roll, and basically you're rolling the wax as tight as possible. You want to keep this edge straight, and you're going to keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling to the end, and eventually you'll end up with a thin taper candle. In a minute we'll cut the wicks, but for now, just to give you an idea, that's how you make the first candle. I'm now going to make the next square sheet. So same as before, place the wick 1/2 centimetre from the edge and roll over, fold over and cover the wick all the way to the end. So you're capturing that wick like that, and then repeat. You want to do this as tightly as possible, and you will notice probably even from the first one you've just rolled, the fatter it gets, the easier it gets, and you're going to keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling until you get to the end. And there you have another taper candle. And then we will do the same with the lime green sheets. We're now going to take 2 of the rectangle sheets, so the 2 orange sheets. And by rolling this a different way, by covering the sheets cut a different way, we're going to get a different effect. So you're going to place one triangle on top of the other, and you'll see what I mean at the end. The more predominant colour is the colour on the bottom, so I want to see more of my darker orange, but if you want to, you can flip it the other way around. So place one sheet directly on the other, and then you're going to place the wick on one of the right angle triangle sides with the longer wick sticking out the longer edge away from the right angle triangle, okay? And this time, exactly the same, but this time you're capturing 2 sheets at the same time, so it's slightly more fiddly, but it's doable. So you're going to go all the way to the edge, like so. And then you're going to do it again. And like before, you want to try and keep it as tight as possible. Watch this edge here, because sometimes it can go a bit stewy. And you're going to keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling. And eventually you end up with a sort of more of a helter-skelter look. And if you recall, I said the colour on the bottom you'll see more of. So you can see more of the darker orange because I put that sheet on the bottom. If you want to see more of the bright orange, make sure the brighter orange is at the bottom. Now we're going to do the same technique but with the 2 white triangles. So place 1 triangle on top of the other. Again, place the wick 1/2 centimetre from the edge, and you're going to fold over, roll over, and cover the wick all the way to the end. Oops, it's pinging out like that. And then you're going to do it again. So again, as tightly as possible, keep rolling, keeping this edge as straight as possible, and you're going to keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling, and eventually you end up with another tapered candle. So here are the 5 candles that have now been rolled, and the first job we need to do is we just need to trim the wick. So you want to trim the wick about 1/2 centimetre from the end of the candle. So I'm just going to trim not the 3 candles, the 5 candles. So, but keep these wicks because you might have some offcuts at the end and you might have to make some little mini candles. So don't bin them yet. Let's just trim all of them so they're 1/2 centimetre from the end of the candle. So there we are. These are all now ready to be decorated. The first candle we're going to decorate is the orange candle, and the idea is we're going to make this look a little bit like a carrot. So in your kit you will have a green long thin rectangle, and what you want to do is you want to take that rectangle and cut it in half. Okay, so you've now got half of that rectangle, so it's probably about 3 centimetres by about 6 centimetres approximately. We're then going to very carefully unravel the carrot candle. So be a little bit careful because you don't want it to break, but you're going to unravel it almost to the end, like that, okay? And then with your green wax, you're going to place it inside and press it down a little bit, like this, and then roll it up again. And the idea is this is going to be the leaves on the bottom of your carrot, and you just want to make sure that they're trapped inside. And you're just going to roll up, and now that piece of greenery is trapped inside the candle, okay? And then with some scissors, you're then going to cut some thin strips, about 1 centimetre strips around. So the idea is this looks like the leaves at the bottom of your carrot. So we're going to go like that all the way around. And then you can splay them out a little bit and we'll do whatever you like. So the idea is that this now looks like a carrot. In the kit, you'll see there is a shape template with different shapes to help you cut out the different patterns to put on the candle. If you're good at freehand, you may not need to use these shapes, but they're used as a guide. So we're going to start off and we're going to make the egg candle, I think, first. So with the shape template, you get a pair of scissors, and what you do is you're going to cut around the shape. So we're going to do the egg first. So I'm just going to cut around the shape template here and just cut out the egg shape. So I've got a guide on how I want to do my eggs. Move that out the way and just finish that off. So there we are. We've now got a little egg shape to work with. and we're going to decorate the natural beeswax candle, this one here. So this is what we're going to end up decorating. And you can choose the different colours of offcuts to use. In the kit I've selected to use the red and blue. So I'm going to get my red sheet here, and to make sure I get the right shape, I'm going to just place there. I would just do it up one end so you don't waste the wax. And I'm going to just press my thumb onto there and just use that as the guide to cut around the egg. So I'm going to go all the way around like that. And it just helps, so it makes sure that the shape you're cutting out looks symmetrical and even. So there we are, there's an egg. And I'm going to do one more. I think I'm going to have one blue and 2 red. So I'm going to just cut out another one. So I have two red eggs and 1 blue. Like I said, if you're good at freehand, you could just cut this out without the shape template, but I just find it easier, and then they all sort of match. Okay, so well, there's another one. There's my red one. And then I'm going to take the blue wax, and I'm just going to do exactly the same and cut out a blue egg. Oops. There we are. So just cut around the edge like that. And there you have 3 shades. So I'm going to have blue in the middle and 2 red. We're going to decorate this egg first. So we just put that to one side there. I'm going to take my blue wax offcut, and then I'm going to grab some scissors, and you can do different designs. So I'll just give you a few ideas here, but feel free to do whatever you fancy. So the first one, I'm just going to cut a very thin strip, so maybe like a 1/2 centimetre strip. And I'm going to put that in the centre of my egg. So I'm just going to press it down. You'll see it's really quite sticky and pliable. So I'm just going to press that down. I'm going to place that halfway around the egg, and then I'll just trim there so it evens it off. So there we are. So now we've got a stripe going round the centre of the egg. And I think for that egg, that's all I'm going to do. So that's the first design for my first egg. For the next egg, the blue egg, which is going to go in the middle, I'm going to put some little circles on this egg. So you've got a yellow sheet of offcut. All you're going to do is just at the end, just tear off a little bit of wax, and then you're going to roll it up into a ball, tiny little ball, and then you can stick it onto the candle, and then you can make another one. So I'm going to make maybe 6 or 7 of these, maybe a little bit more, we'll see. I'm going to roll up again into a little ball. You might find it easier in the palm of your hand, or even rolling it on the table like that, and then stick another ball onto the candle. And I'm going to repeat this until the whole of the egg is covered in little balls. So I've rolled out more balls now, so the egg is now covered with lots of little circles. It makes a quick and easy decoration for the candle. We're now going to decorate the last egg, and for this I'm going to do a variety of different patterns. So I think I'm going to start off, I'm going to use some white offcut, but again you could choose your own colours, and I'm going to cut a thin strip like we did earlier, and I'm going to place that at the top of the candle, so near the top like that, okay? And then at the bottom, I'm going to just going to cut to the end, so I've got a straight edge all the way. So the next bit, I'm going to make a slightly, maybe about a 1 centimetre width strip. I'm going to cut here all the way to the end. Okay, so I've got a strip here, and then I'm going to make some little snippets into little triangles just to create a sort of cracked egg sort of look. Now, you may have noticed I've actually changed to my other scissors because I just find the smaller scissors slightly easier to use. You may not want to use your nail scissors though, because they do get a little bit waxy. So otherwise just use regular scissors, but smaller pair of scissors does make it slightly easier. So if you can see, I hold it up to the camera, we've got some little triangles going all the way. So I'm just going to go right to the end, and then I'll trim the sheet to the length I want at the end. So there we are. And then I'm going to put that near the bottom of the egg. So I'm just going to measure it. I actually find it easier to actually press that on to the egg like that. And then if I flip it over, I can actually then just trim from this side and get the shape of the egg as I go around. So there we are. So now we have another pattern for our egg. And now we're going to stick them onto the candles. So I've got my candle here. I tend to have the seam at the back, so we're going to stick them onto the other side and just going to place them on the candle. So you literally just get hold of it, and because it's quite pliable, they just stick down. So I'm going to stick that one there. Then I'm going to have my circles. These sometimes I can just see they've come off a little bit. They come off when you press them down. So let's press the egg on, and then we may have to stick some of these circles back on because they've just got stuck to my thumb, which is always annoying. So let's press those down. You can see it's easily fixed. Okay. Press those all on. So now we've got the blue egg, and then we'll take the other egg that we had that I made earlier and stick that one at the top. And now you've got some Easter eggs on your candle. And if you wanted to, of course, you could do them around the other side too. I'm going to make this candle now look like an Easter rabbit. So with your scissors, you're going to, at the top, make an incision down the side. Just going to trim the wax slightly, about 5 centimeters down. So trim that side and then roll it over and do the other side. You're just going to trim down about 5 centimeters like that. And then you can part the wax slightly, spray it out like that, so they look like Easter bunny ears. And then you could trim the wick. So trim the wick slightly there. Whoops, mine doesn't cut. There we are, so I've trimmed the wick here. So that's stage 1 of making your Easter bunny. We're now going to make his face. So I'm going to take you've got a pale pink offcut of wax. Oops. And what you can do is you're going to cut get that out of the way. You're going to cut a oval shape, which is going to be part of the rabbit's nose. So it's about, I don't know, 1.5 centimeters in diameter. Okay, and then we're going to stick that onto the candle like that. Okay, doesn't show up particularly in this light, but that's a pale pink on white. I'm going to stick that on there. So that's stage 1 of his nose. I'm then going to take my red wax and I'm just going to break off a little piece like that, and similar how to we did the balls on the egg, I'm just going to roll that up into a ball, and then I'm going to place that into the centre of his nose and squidge it down a bit. So that's his actual nose. Okay. And then you're going to take your black offcut, and the first thing we can do is we can make his eyes. So we're going to take the wax and again roll it into a ball and then stick it on to the candle, and then we can do another one this side. So roll it up, they look like raisins, don't they? And stick it onto that side. Oops, doesn't want to stick. Well, they're now not even. So try try and make them even. So there we are. Now the rabbit has some eyes. And then with the black, we're now going to cut some very thin strips of black for the whiskers. Now that could be quite fiddly. They really are very, very thin. So again, you might find if you've got a smaller pair of scissors, the smaller scissors are easier. But you're going to cut 4 very thin strips for his whiskers, and then we also want to do his mouth. So actually, let's cut 6. So we're going to cut 6 very thin pieces of wax. So we're going to do one more. There we are. So we've got 6 thin little pieces of wax. And now what we're going to do is we're going to decorate and make his face. So first bit, I'm going to take one of the strips. I'm just going to put a little line down the center. So I'm just going to cut out and just break off with my thumb a line. So we've got dust going down the center of the rabbit's nose, and then we could do a little strip the other way. So that the idea of this is it's going to look like his mouth. Just move that along a little bit. Oh, it's coming off. You'll see that sometimes happens. It's a bit frustrating, but you just take it off and press it down. So there we are. Now the rabbit has got a little mouth. And then with the other offcuts, you're going to make some whiskers. So you're going to put these onto the, and just press them down. So coming out from his nose, and we're going to give him, I'm going to give him 4 whiskers. So press that down there. Oops, it's not sticking in there. And then if you want to, you could press them down, or you could have them flapping in the wind a little bit. We don't need that bit, move out of the way. And there we have it. There is your little Easter bunny. And if you wanted to, with the pink, you could take another little offcut of the pink, and we could roll that into a slightly bigger ball, and you could turn the rabbit around and stick at the back, and there we are. He's got a little tail. So that's how you make the Easter rabbit. Okay, we're going to get the template out, and we're now going to prepare the template so we can make the sheep. So I found the easiest way is to basically cut out 2 different oval shapes. So we've got a larger one for his body, so I'm just going to cut around here, around the template, so we've got a sensible size for his body. There we are, there. And then I also have a smaller bit here. Just cut that round, it's easier. And then here I'm going to cut round and make another oval shape, which will be his head. Okay, so we've got 2 shapes here. So if I just show you so you get the idea of the template, basically we're going to have, that's going to be his body. So I place that there, and then this will be placed on top, which is the start. Just gives you a little bit of foundation for the face. Okay, so let's do the body first. So we're going to take the white offcut, and like we did earlier with the eggs, you're just going to hold in your thumb. It's a bit fiddly, so you might, if you're a child, you might want a little bit of help from your parents or an adult, but basically hold it down and you're going to cut through like that, and you're going to make the body. Okay, so there's the body for our sheep. So with the black, we're going to, like before, if I'm going to go up that end, put the smaller piece of wax, and again just trim round, move that out of the way, trim round so that you have an oval shape for his face. The paper's got stuck. There we are. So then that will go on top like that. Okay, so there's the face and the body. And now we give him some little legs. So as before, thin strips, you're going to cut 4. You want 4, so I'm going to, because it's quite long, I'm going to just take 1 strip there. So they need to be about 1.5 to 2 centimeters in length. And we're going to cut. So we want to have 4 legs. Okay, like that. And then we're going to cut out a little tiny little oval shape, almost like a teardrop. I hold that up to on the palm of my hand. If I hold that up to the camera, you can see a tiny little teardrop shape. So we want 2 of those because these are going to be his ears. So let's do another one. So this is slightly fiddly, but it doesn't have to be perfect. There we are. So you've got another sort of tear shape for his ear. And then similar sort of like a tiny little oval shape for his tail. There we are. So they all look quite cinema. Okay. And now we're going to decorate the... So first of all, so on the picture on the box, I've done 2 sheep. I think for this one, I'm actually going to do 1. So I'm going to start halfway up the candle, and I'm just going to first of all place his legs. So I'm going to spray them apart like that, a little bit like a V sign. So we're going to do that and that. Okay, you can see there. So that's the start of his legs. And then I'm going to get the body, and I'm going to put the body on top of that and press down. Okay, so there we have the body of our sheep. Then I'm going to take his little face and I'm going to put it at one end like that. Okay, and then I'm going to get one of my little offcuts, and at the other end I'm going to stick that down because that is his little tail. Okay, and then with the sort of teardrop shapes, I'm going to use those, and I'm just going to stick them down for his ears. So there's 1 ear there, and we'll have 1 ear there. So now the sheep has got a tail and some ears. And then all that we need to do now is to give him some eyes. So I'm going to take some of the white wax, and like before, just roll out 2 little balls. And then I'm going to stick those onto the candle. So he's got a couple of eyes. And then if you wanted to, you could give him the nose. Give him a red nose. Decide whatever colour you want. So I'm going to use a little bit of the red, and I'm going to stick that on the front. So there we are. He now has, oops, it doesn't want to stick. Stick that on there. And there we have it. Oh, his tail's come off. That's not good. So there we have it. You can see we have a sheep candle. So like I said, on the front of the box, you see I've done a couple of these, but today I'm just going to show you how to make one. The last candle we're going to do is we're going to decorate the change scissors, and we're going to make the daffodils. So these are slightly fiddly. So again, like before, cut out the template so you've got a good shape for petals. So I'm just going to whiz around here, do that. Around here. So this is probably the trickiest of all the decorations that we're going to do today, which is why I'm doing it last. So hopefully we get a little bit more adept with cutting out the wax sheets and playing around with them. Okay, so there we are. Now we've got the flower template, and we're going to grab the yellow and I'm now going to cut out the sheet. I'm going to change scissors because I seem to think it might be easier if I follow the template here with these scissors. So you're going to cut around. You get your design, the petal design. There we are. Okay. So this is a bit fiddly. If you don't think you can cope with this, then of course you can do your own decorations. You could make some similar to what we've done so far, or you could design your own thing. I suppose you could make like an egg candle, couldn't you? And you do like a chick coming out of an egg, something like that. Or maybe, I don't know, a tulip. Would a tulip be easier to design? I'm not certain. Anyway, we're nearly there. Let's just cut down here. It's a bit fiddly to get to. So I'm going to cut round here, like that. And round there. Oops. And then lift the wax off. And there you have your flower template. Flower. Okay. And then with the scissors, we're going to take the orange wax and you're going to cut out a circle, probably the size of like a 5p piece, that sort of size. And you're going to just cut out a circle, okay, like that. So you have your circle here. Now, if you grab like a pen, what you're going to do is you're just going to press the circle into the pen and just mould it around a little bit because we want to create the trumpet for the daffodil. And I just find by using a pen, it just creates that sort of cup shape. Can you see there? And then we're going to stick that into the centre of the candle, which it might be useful to press down with the pen like that. And then you're going to fold the leaves up a little bit so they look like that. So there we are. And then with a tiny bit of yellow, you could roll up another little ball, which could be the pollen that will go inside your daffodil. And then we're going to grab the candle and then you're going to literally just stick it onto the candle. Like that. Oops, I picked up a bit of red there. There we are. So there we are. There you have a daffodil to go on your candle. So we're just going to make a few more to finish off the candle. So there we have it. There are our 5 Easter candles, which I think look very seasonal and very spring-like. We do have other kits available. We have a year-round kit for the rolled beeswax, a Christmas kit and one for Halloween as well. And we do offer another kit where you actually get the materials and equipment to actually melt wax and make a container wax and a pillar wax, in addition to our in-person workshops which we run from our studio here in Marlow.